Lunch with your fave is brought to you by KFC. Finger licking good. You look like a threat. I'm a threat. Yeah, it's a bed.
I told you today's guest is your fave. Hey, it's Mr. Ndinaye Chengeta and Bangobari Yolo Wadi Kuku Bangobari Yolo Wadi DNA. And I actually brought him here. Hi, Mr. C.
Hello, how are you?
I got you.
You're going to be lenient, Mom.
I remember before I made it to radio, I told you one day I'm going to interview you. And official, I can't be lenient, but welcome to The Good Life with myself, Luhle.
Voila, always a pleasure, Mr. Chengeta.
Yeah.
Up with you guys.
Yeah, I'm very honored that you honored my invitation to the show, hey?
Definitely.
Let's put it out Mr. Chengeta is live on his Facebook page. Make sure that you tune in on Monday, looking all corporate, looking all CEO like always. And to catch this episode, make sure to follow the Yarona FM YouTube account all the way on YouTube, and catch other episodes that we've did right here on Lunch with Your Fave. Now, Mr. Chengeta, I want us to jump right into it. Who is Mr. Chengeta?
Mr. Chengeta is a businessman. I'm a businessman in line with every opportunity that pops up. When film production starts to make money, I go film. When farming makes money, I go farming. Everywhere where there's money, I go in.
When counseling makes money, I go in. When teaching makes money, I go in.
I go everywhere where there's money.
And you've shared on your social media platform some years back, you don't believe in failure. You believe in failing, but you don't become a failure after that.
I think with that one, I've already proven myself. Because
you have.
With the stuff that I've gone through, look at me now. It's like it happened to someone else, not me.
It's like it didn't happen just yesterday.
Yeah.
Let's unpack. Mr. Chengeta used to be a teacher, right?
Yes, definitely.
Let's talk about the birth of that career all the way to where you are today.
Well, what happens is during the times when we were growing up, our parents believed that teaching was a noble profession. More so that most parents wanted us to be teachers. So I think that's how I ended up within that route. But I never liked teaching completely. But like when I went in, then I fell in love with the whole teaching environment in terms of the students, the way they think, the way they do things, interactions with parents, other teachers, etc. But I felt that the environment was too limiting because, within the school, I felt like a lot of people were not exploring their skills. People would do only what they are meant to do and nothing else. So I decided, you know what, I need to go and be my own boss. I need to go and do other things. I need to explore life. I need to do more.
No routine.
Just cool.
Never pass.
Like counseling. Yeah.
Your English is always tough. It's been, eh?
No, definitely.
It's been. All right.
English media.
Yeah, the people must know that. When you take the Tswana to the private and you bring it out, you get a mix of both in the society.
All
right, and I understand that following your departure from the career of teaching, you tried venturing into the counseling part. How was it though being there for people?
Well, what I did is as soon as I jumped out from the teaching profession, I was already doing music in terms of being a DJ. I was a club DJ in a lot of clubs, more especially in Molepolole. I was also DJing in weddings, etc. Then I was also doing camera work. I was doing a lot of videos until I came across Nomen Moloi. When I met Nomen Moloi was shooting Tokolosi. Then that's when I decided I need to go the film route. Then that's when now I explored 430, which I shot as my first movie. Once I was done with shooting 430, I made a proposal to Makhabane to take Makhabane from radio to TV. So I dealt with all the proposals, etc. We made applications to the World Bank for the product to get funding. Then in partnership with NACA, BTV, and the Office of the President, we managed to shoot 52 episodes of one of the best series in BTV. So that's how I ended up with teaching. Then while I was there, I decided, hey, the birth of social media. With social media, I'm one guy who wants to keep people on check.
Yeah.
To always say, hey, how are you handling 1, 2, 3? How could you do things better? Because I believe that, things can always be done better. And besides, the future out there mandates that we have to explore opportunities. So with that, I'll do a few nuggets. And I realized that a lot of people would follow that because they seem to relate. Then again, because I'm a controversial person, I'll go through almost everything that anybody can ever go through. Then with that, it helps me in that I don't just preach what I learned from the counseling vicinity, but rather I've also experienced.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Now, getting to the part where you now ventured into a different field, Otako filming. Where did you go to after the film industry?
I knew that doctor.
Where did you go to?
Yeah. Well, what happens is when I was doing the Makabanem project, that project was around 2.4 million. So I then decided, hey, we are growing old and you can't take this money and splash it.
Yeah.
So what you need to do is you need to invest on something. So that's when I bought my farm in Mulepole as well as other areas.
Yeah.
So then as soon as I started developing, I began to have this love for just, growing land. You put a gum pole, tomorrow you want to come back again, put a fence, tomorrow you come back again. So with the money that I got from the Makabanem project, I transferred it to my farm, which, as we speak right now, is one of the most state-of-the-art farms in the country, with electricity, boreholes, solarized, all types of structures, etc., and also opportunities to put up things such as truck stops and filling stations, etc. So I think with me venturing into farming, it was about acquiring land and being able to have something once anything goes wrong, or a retirement package. Because by then, there was the farming aspect, there was the aspect of securing my own place to stay, you build your own house. Because what I realized is that a lot of people are not doing very well because they spend most of their money on rental. But when you don't pay rental, you begin to realize that, hey, a lot of money, you are able to utilize it properly, especially if you have a big enough plot like the plots that I have.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And now let's jump right into the farm. I like that you touched the farm, right?
No, let's go.
No, so I like that you touched the farm because that's where I feel like other people who do it from the film industry, from teaching, from any other area, but who is like a farm, yeah.
Yes.
Because when you had your farm, you now opened opportunities to not just you and your family, but all of Botswana people who are interested to take part into investing in your dream, investing in their lives through the dream and the vision that you had for the farm. Now we saw how you had initiatives, right? Although in social media, I've been there, I saw a lot of things.
Yeah.
Take us through that vision when you started to, have it. Guys, you can have your hand, you can put your hand in this as well.
No problem. Well, what happens is I'm one guy who reads a lot of newspapers. So much vested in knowing what is happening in the international world. More so that I, at some point, started making projections of where the country is going. And I realized that a lot of people don't have money. They're going to have a lot of financial problems because the currency seems to be creating issues and food prices are going up and down, etc. So when I went into farming, what happened is at some point I happened to build a single kraal. And I had goats that I had gotten from my grandmother. So with those goats, I was fortunate that a friend of mine would keep visiting me at the farm. Then one day the guy says, hey, listen, why don't I put my goats next door to your kraal? And you give me water and we use the same laborer at 1,000 pula. I decided, okay, fine. I've got nothing to lose here. The goats, after all, are in the farm. There's water, which is solarized, so therefore I've got no losses. So that's how the first kraal was built. Then with time I get to realize that, hey, so technically this person is paying for my employee, but also keeping his material. So then I decided, okay, fine, no problem. Let me advertise this thing to other people. So what happened is I built 9 more kraals on top of the first one. So I got tenants, and these tenants were paying 1,000 pula per tenant with 1 employee. So now with that, it then meant everybody was getting the service that they wanted, and I was getting rental. Up until I got to 20 kraals. Now, when I got to 20 kraals, COVID hit.
Aish.
When COVID hit,
and it hit hard.
Hey, I realized that there's an opportunity. an opportunity in that people are not able to move from point A to B.
Yeah.
So why not have a scenario in which people have their goats in kraals where there are people who already live there who take care of them. So that's how the 0.7 project came up, which are the initiatives. So what did I do? I simply calculated to say, okay, fine. If somebody has a single kraal and is keeping whatever number of goats or whatever, and they're paying rental of 1,000, what happens is I can translate it to a scenario where these people give us the money, we buy the goods for them, we buy the feeds for them, and we get our money for rental. That is where the idea was hatched.
Yes.
Now, in simple terms, if I take you through maybe say the poultry initiative, what happens is that the mathematics, if you go through it, it would always say, if Mr. Chengeta is leasing a farm, he's always going to pay rental or is going to pay the employee at least 1.2 minimum wage. So that means our calculation in terms of the first cost is the 1.2 of the labor.
Yes.
2, Mr. Chengeta is going to have to pay for the chickens. He's going to pay 10,000 for 100 chickens. Once he pays that, it means we are already at 11,000. Again. Now, feeds. The cocoa they use around 8 bags in a month, meaning 8 bags multiplied by 12 months would give you the equivalence of the figure that I came up with, which was 52,000. So out of that 52,000, I have my 12,000 for rental per month. That's all that was happening there. So those who are saying it's a scam were simply people who don't know how to make calculations. Yes, because what could have easily happened is that somebody alone could have been paying 50,000 to do the project for the whole year and pay me my 12,000, like what is happening now. So what has happened now? I then looked at my following after that thing blew up. You remember I was quiet for the longest time.
For the longest time. And for somebody who doesn't know this, I was managing your page by then.
Yes, I know.
So you were quiet and we were quiet in the page.
We were very quiet. And there's a reason why we were quiet is because I'm a very patient person. You know, when I deal with problems like a bank robbery. When you rob a bank, you can't go out and make noise. You understand? Now, my opponents were making noise so I could see everything that they're doing. But me, I was quiet. So meaning nobody knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
And in fact, during the period when there was this chaos, what was I doing? I was building. I was building a house, a very nice house in Mopani. I was fixing up structures, etc., because I was waiting for the right time, because you have to be patient. You have to have a plan. You don't just open your mouth and make noise with the hope that the noise will change things, etc. Because, you know, when I projected, I looked at the number of people that I had brought on board in the product. It was around 3,200 people. So, given the time that this thing backfired, and mind you, let me take you back to how we went wrong. One, when I was creating this project, what I did is I called a few friends to help me to structure this whole thing. And I was shocked that now when it was working and they saw the money come in, that ones were right in front, talking about us being scams, etc. So that thing on its own, I felt good. Let me keep quiet, and one day I'll come out to teach Botswana to say, hey, you see your friends, they're the same people that when you are poor, they will be loyal, they will be there with you. Make the money and see what happens. You see. So right now, what is happening? We are still doing the initiatives. It's just that this time, it's not different people, you know, like say 20 people who have brought in my 2.5 to make 50,000. It's one person, it's the same mathematics. It's only that because people don't realize that it's still happening, they think, no, that is legit. It's the same thing.
Yeah. No, I feel you. If you just tuned in, this is the Good Life on Yarona FM with myself, Luhle, and I'm chilling with your fave, Mr. Ndinaye Chengeta. And for you to engage with him, WhatsApp me on +267 391106. Send through that WhatsApp test, WhatsApp voice note, and call right here on the show. Well, Mr. Chengeta. All right, Mr. C. I'm really enjoying having this conversation with you because I want to mathematics.
Let's play fair. I'm smart, you understand? Sometimes I even think I live in the future. Are you aware that September, these guys go for?
Yeah.
That same September, a virus broke out in South Africa.
Eish.
Government was calling, hey, Chengeta, where are the eggs? What if we had been patient, because in business it's about patience.
Yeah.
Right now South Africa has a serious problem with eggs and chickens. Do you know where they are getting eggs from? They are trying to scout for eggs. You guys could have been the supplying. You understand? So that's why sometimes, Gary, maybe I live in the future. You have to monitor your president, his thinking, more directioning, so that you know which projects are going to be favored. So, I can tell you, I'm personally doing well. And the same people, they've become great followers, saying now they admire what they see, because all that these guys have done is they've just created a stage for me to shine. You understand? So I shine on the grandest stage of them all.
So basically, Mr. Chengeta, what you're saying is you understood the direction that the government of Botswana was heading to, and you were patient on it.
Yes.
And had they been patient with you as well, they would have benefited on the direction that you long saw. No, this is where the government of Botswana is heading to, and we're gonna if only we soldier on. +267391106. I'm gonna play you Sean Music and FTS featuring Oops Sage and Molest Van K with Like That. And right after that, we're gonna be back with Mr. Chengeta to talk more about Yarona DNA. Keep it locked. Still tuned to The Good Life with myself, Luhle. Take it all the way to 3 p.m. But every Friday between 1 and 2 p.m. we jump into lunch with your favorite. Proudly brought to you by KFC.
Lunch with your fave is brought to you by KFC. Finger licking good.
And on today's show, we're chilling with your favorite Mr. Ndinaye Chengeta, DNA, and he's out here giving us the insights of who Mr. Ndinaye Chengeta is. So for you to engage with us on the show, WhatsApp us on +267391106. Mr. Chengeta, you have a text here. It's from El Tido Dirangu. I love that guy. He sent through a voice note as well, because I get the type is the channel. Let's audition. All right. Earlier on, we were talking about the poultry initiatives and all other initiatives that you had at the farm.
Yes.
Let's jump to how big your wedding was.
Hey. More relationship.
Very soon.
And because I take time to plan and pay. Can you think about how we are no, hey, let's come on. Right now we have money.
Saying that wedding was epic.
She was the MC.
That wedding was epic.
Then we booked Kubla Khan for over 3 months. Just to do the video shoots, photo shoots, etc., move around, capture code, masiring, the whole thing was to be televised. So, it was more costly.
Yeah.
But I'm one person I never regret.
All right. I remember, speaking of the Khushuta Mrs. I remember your wife by then was she was a fiancé by then, and you want to choose the dress. You did the whole surprise thing. How did you know her taste?
Well, what happened?
I mean, Masira is a very sensitive thing.
I suspect that I didn't choose her taste per se. I was looking for the best. And at the time, because I was working with a very good budget, because remember, we had 3 artists there, including Dr. Vom, Bolizibo. The gowns were provided by those guys. Pakalani areas. I wanted the best, because go out with a bang. Because so I'm a bachelor hoodie, family life. So go out with a bang. So I wanted to go out with a bang, and I did just that. And you see, we parted ways. What happened is I sat down and said, good, what do I want now? I still believe in marriage. So equally believes in what I believe in. I'm going to vet properly, etc. Straight because I'm from a family in Leon.
No, for real, and I know that one.
It's an achievement.
Now, before we could get there, Mr. C, one I can get the good. For now, no, but Mr. C, you believe solely in marriage and in love.
Yeah.
Before you married that woman, you're with another woman. And it wasn't long after you left her to go get married. Do you think? Mr. Z, I just got this show. I cannot content. You're my content. Let's unpack.
I think we are sitting. And I will respond.
Yeah, don't you think that kind of find a way to disrupt the family that you're trying to build with your by now ex-wife?
No, what happens is, I can remember before I got married, I had just parted with someone.
Yes.
Got now one person. By the time my system still teach more. I don't just break up. I'll break up maybe after a year. Within that year, by the time I want out. Because I nest myself keep back. It's just like the way you guys found out divorce.
Yeah.
I prepped everything in advance. I took a year. Keep back.
Yeah.
Then but I'm like, I feel sorry for all of them.
Because you went through it.
Now I'm done.
Before.
You understand? So the ambulance say we heal too fast. No, you don't heal fast. You have a plan. Exit I am, because you know the type of life that I live. I've got checks and balances. This and this and that. And mind you, I know there's a big question in the end. Your DNA.
No,
so though I'll answer it carefully.
Yeah.
We are at a point in time. You understand?
Yeah, true.
So a lot of things now, at least I'm able to say just to protect other people. You understand? But nobody gets hurt. No, I'm ready to go out and tell the truth. Because in the end, it's about people learning from what we went through.
Yeah.
Now, before you even go further, Obana, when I divorced, I made divorce fashionable. Because initially, people never have a divorce. But they don't even want people to know what divorce is. What. I made it fashionable. Even getting in trouble, I made it fashionable. Farming, I make it fashionable. Everything I do, I make it fashionable. Obana, I'm here. Now your program will become fashionable.
Yeah, trendsetter. That's what. I love it. Yeah. Fashionable in us, Mr. Chengeta Budapa. Fashionable, Mr. Chengeta, outside as a country. All right, Mr. Chengeta. Yeah, well, you did make DNA fashionable for sure.
Yeah.
And I don't really necessarily have to get much into it, but I just want to understand the insides of how you really went through the healing process, DNA. Because I want to believe you knew this even way before you finalized the divorce. Not too easy. And this was also a child that was your favorite part of life.
Yeah.
Standard procedure. Standard procedure.
And mind you, I've got a kid coming, by the way.
You're expecting?
Yeah, I'm expecting.
Hey,
come on.
Hey.
I'll tell you. When it comes to issues Tabo Manyal, like I was telling you, V and I made the whole divorce thing fashionable.
Yeah.
And technically, we are teaching people it's not the end, that you can always come back.
It's all right.
And Eskari, just because you had an incident, now we bring it into the next relationship. What I'm saying is, imagine if with my current fiance DNA.
Yeah.
It automatically shows that I haven't healed.
Yeah.
I'm beyond that. I've learned a lot. And mind you, let me thank those who thought they were destroying me, because to find out the DNA. Why? Because this is what happened. This thing he was making so much noise. Sometimes people, you know what? That thing, it was God's doing. Because when you grow big, the example, the lesson has to be big, Leon.
Yeah.
That thing was so strange. And I feel maybe it was God trying to show me you are in the wrong area. And a lot of things are wrong. Imagine if I had found out these things 20 years in the future. You understand? But especially again because I loved that kid. from the day the kid was born, Nickel was pateling kids on Mokoni.
What's up, Home?
Kisakume. Elena ke check on gore ga ke change. Imagine. Ke check al dina go ro go rile kana ko ye ka date ye sengwe le sengwe le nna ke bolela mbodness. Ke papa. You know, so from that time on, I loved that kid. Bond. I didn't know anything. I'd do anything for that kid. My friends would do anything for that kid. That kid made albinism popular and fashionable. You see, fashionable is what I do for the country. Woman. No, albinism became acceptable and fashionable at that time. Then what then happened is, through time, because most of the time, because the mother was go. You know, we would go to the farm together, we'd do a lot of things together. My silly friends would come, we'd be together. So no lemonade. Now, some idiot somewhere, more posting yamong. Chengeta busy. That is where this whole thing popped up.
Or also content
Zero.
A mere comment like that moved you.
No. What happens is, from time to time, there were key people who mentioned it, but in passing. But because you don't have much experience in But one of that comment alone is the one that sparked everything. What is this now? Then, I get calculator. There are a lot of things that have been happening that just point to worrying. Something went wrong somewhere.
Couldn't off.
Even the parent, the grandparents, give your they've been treating this child like it's their child's child, not my child. So when I was eating, I go, yay, hot. And around April, when I began to worry, and by then I knew that divorce was looming, it was coming. So I decided, I need a bulletproof plan. That's when I then moved to my yard. Why? Because I needed to come up with an exit plan. People were busy about Trodia. Now I was making a plan. Simple. If we wait until such a date, at the time, I was supposed to pay around 3.2 million. If I had paid so I decided to keep quiet when I was on. Why? To delay, so that get charge rental. You understand now?
Yeah.
So by the time we reached December now, when we were paying 2.7 million 200, by then half a million. We paid off everything through our attorneys, etc. And lesson learned, do everything through your attorneys. Now, I keep an army of attorneys are very good within this country. You understand? You can't do you can't.
Okay, we have a message here from Tato Polelo. I'm for love and marriage. I'm Team Chengeta. Tato Polelo here, and he also says, please ask your guest, how did you eventually deal with it during that 1 year? Did you gym, prayer, help out? Do you have any kind of resentment for your ex?
No resentment whatsoever. Because the moment you start looking for vengeance, etc. Because it means you are still stuck in the past. You need to move, and it has to be clear that you have moved. And in you moving again, you have to have activities. I'm a busy person, you understand? When you'd find out that I built my own structures, I construct everything for myself. I'd bring in the cocoa, I'll be doing the cocoa, the veggies, etc. So I keep my mind busy, you understand? Right now I'll be doing debt collection, counseling. So by the time I was lucky because I've got a strong family. United. Plus my friends, I've got the type of friends if I want money from you, you don't borrow it to me, you give it to me. And I've got a lot of those. Imagine that the Bissau's here and there. My surrounding is so safe. In business and because we grew in family stealing from birth. Business. We know that things can go wrong. Let this thing the initiative. There's one newspaper that actually wrote about it. Good, no problem. It's an exit route. They are supposed to behave that way. In that, admit okay, fine, we are wrong. Saying that we are wrong simply meant ne re bereka le the wrong people. Ne re bereka le batho ba metshelo ba ileng gore they expect to make money within a period of 1 year. People who are not patient, you understand? But what we have done, we are dealing with people by they are legal minds, the lawyer are in what is but while udira di kuku tsa hawe for 2 months had now be safe. After that period wa go risk market in what is and it may fail out not. Those are businesses le rona. The reason why I had no problem, while people have a problem hey nerole, for us it's normal. Imagine, from the Makabanen days, but you wake up, you move. Because with experience, it becomes faster for you to progress. Hey.
Now, we also have a question from Anonymous. Are they in community or out of community?
In.
Your advice?
Nah, that's the in community of property.
What's in a hotel?
But realistically, it is easier for people not to marry in community of property. But the problem people are ill-educated when it comes to the system. Most people think how the out of community of property. So therefore, what happens is, say it then means those things you are going to realize the harm the same things that you are buying. The other person who is frustrated business and those are things now. This thing out of community of property, it doesn't go as easy as people think it does. A lot of things are going to be looked at in community of property. The same thing applies to the settlement. The divorce part is not the difficult part, because is for you to say, yeah, we have fallen out of love, our differences are irreconcilable, we have fallen out of love, etc. It's easy for it to be declared. The settlement is where there's a problem, because now you look at okay, fine, how not more the properties out by the time the settlement, which when you don't own anything.
All right, I think I get you. I think even Anonymous here how in community of property or in what angle, right?
Yes.
Another quick question I want to ask you, Mr. C here.
No, this one. I can go straight again. This relationship. Tota ke fila gore e dirile ke nna bona e dirile ke nna ke nna ne ke aga relationship ye monga yone a ba tsena a sa lemo gore go hara tsena straight wa bona e tla go bula motho ba itlhela gore yela wa re tshwaetso wa bona mothako wa spana straight gape nna ke ratana wa bona ke ta ratana gore kona go bereka straight mo relationship ing wa bona nna ra betcha gape ra betcha and don't think ga ka moso e sa bereki gore ro je no now I spend my money where it makes me happy. You see, I'm glowing, It's because I use my money to make me happy. Hey.
And giving her is part of what makes
me happy.
She then takes care of you.
Hey, when she takes my money, when she grabs my wallet, or we go shopping and she's picking things, you don't understand how happy I am. So that I work hard. I work hard right now because my kid is coming. But whatever it is, because it's my job to pay.
All right, Mr. C, before we wrap it up, few minutes left until we wrap up the end of the conversation. I wish you could co-host with me the whole day. This Friday we deserve a whole dose of you. Now, getting to the end of our conversation, in terms of you getting to heal and being the counselor that you are, from the book only. I have experience to refer to as well. We saw a lot of noise on social media. This guy who are counselor, but hela parlo le mathata re ma tisetsa. Baraya.
I'm going to explain to you.
Yeah.
What happens is there's book counseling. Book counseling matata yone ke gore. There's what you are taught in counseling.
Yeah.
And here is the secret your counseling. A counselor doesn't always know everything about your problem. Because the moment you come for counseling, you already know your problem. And you already have the solution. It's only that it's a solution that you fear to take. You understand? So In counseling.
Powerful.
Come on now.
Come on now. Yeah.
So what happens is, that's one aspect. Then, if you are a good counselor like me, what happens is, the procedures in play how to deploy a client. What happens is, because what happens is, indirectly, you are not interviewing me, but I'm guiding the questions that you're going to ask me.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we do in counseling. What happens is, I have to be 3 steps away from a client. Calculate where are we heading with this client. Through the introduction, for instance, Abo, you introduce on Tauri, you are 26 years of age, you are not married, etc. Thing are from two different fathers. Already it tells me a massive story about where you are going. But aspect how did you have this kid? Was it because you planned it, or was it a mistake? Where is the father? All those things are things. If you're a good counselor, you ask all these questions, because in future they guide you in order to fix. So in terms of aspects, you have gone through things, so therefore there is what we call professionalism in the office. It doesn't mean you are immune. Hela jaka lepodisi. Lepodisi doesn't mean as much as little counselors, we are able to find ourselves in certain areas. But as a counselor, I'm one person when I end up in a predicament, I never blame other people. I always say, hey, it's my fault. And the reason why I always want it to be my fault is because there's only one person who can apologize to me, and that is me. I'll apologize to myself and say, hey, Chengeta, you're a fool. So now, let's apologize to ourselves and move on. Next time we shouldn't make that mistake again.
Yeah.
Hey.
Alrighty. Now, Mr. C, with more developments in your life, in your business, in your career, hey, Mona, in everything that has to do with you, what should we expect? Some tell respect you are going to be a father soon.
And there's going to be a massive gender reveal. It's serious. Then there will be a wedding soon. We thought I got an invitation. Because my money, like I said, now my money works for me.
Yeah.
It makes me happy.
Yeah.
So I make my money make me happy with the people that I'm with around me. You understand?
Actually, before I could ask you, what should we see? What should we expect coming up from your life? You know, you have a very strict father.
Yeah, very strict.
My mom is from your family, Chengeta family. And Bakankwali is my favorite. That's a chill man. You know
That one is chilled. He's the most chilled.
That's the most chilled Chengeta. And is your dad, bruh.
And we thought the funny thing is, what people don't know, when our parents strict in Hotel. Now we are from families 30 millionaire. Mo eleng goreng do tseding we le ha re solve ke ready tse re tota ke re away. Ha re wa tla la hela. Now we are safe from whichever direction, you understand? Hey,
yeah.
But our parents are strict.
Yeah.
Our parents groomed us straight up. So that you don't pay rent. That's what our parents do for us.
With all the shenanigans that you were part of, how are you dealing with your father?
You sit down with your father and you make him understand, this was not my fault. You understand? How divorce? You don't go and grab your parents or are divorce. No. You tell them what you want to do. Because Batsadi Barona are the type of parents you go, you make your own decisions. Okay, fine. The lawyer no, for divorce I need 15,000. Then your father says, no, I'll pay the 15,000, don't worry. And Pasha, the money is with your lawyers, you've got the best lawyers, etc. But they will not be involved in the decision making with you. Yadi put. I'm like, no, that thing will pass. I'll build a different business and I'll still go back to that one and show that one there was nothing wrong with it. And right now, I think a lot of people have learned a lesson. More especially because now, but I don't stop. I keep going.
No, you don't.
And I make the money in public.
And you have no plans to stop.
Hey. You put a guy like me on social media or I'm embarrassed. Then I get a huge following. Then I go into the business of debt collection. Hey, I go phone like a my dear Abatiw. How are hella? Everybody knows me. Every office I go into, people run. Hey, so we have to help him. Come on now. Everything. I'm getting, it's like president to all hearts. Hey, shmona tota ba thomo dimo. Kana tsena hole monate ya. Monate.
And speaking of monate, right here on the go live, go to namna re to ja KFC wa wa. Go monate ba raja. Re ja go
monate ka hore ke te.
No, and you as well, when I might tuned into the Go Live show on Lunch with Your Faves, and the fave is Ndinaye Chengeta. If you could rush your nearest KFC and find out what you can get at affordable prices. Listen, last week I had the spicy rice chicken, and have you ever had the rice?
Yeah, definitely.
No, I grew up in the feel like with the rice. Restaurant. I don't know, I was that girl until last Friday.
My favorite palicha le spinach le pisiana.
And anyway, before we can wrap up conversations with Mr. Chengeta, please make sure that you WhatsApp your last WhatsApp text and voice note to +267 3911 He's gonna try his level best to answer this. But while we're at it, Mr. C, tell us, what should we expect come from you beside this big, massive gender reveal that I'm gonna be emceeing?
Hey, no, definitely.
Aware of your surrounding.
No, definitely.
It's gonna go well.
Yeah, it has to go well.
So besides that, what should we expect from you?
Well, in terms of business, because business is my major hobby. There's a lot of rumors passing around such new business opportunities, such as the president. You're talking about both Steve Harvey are coming through. My sources tell me. So I'm preparing studios specifically for those projects. You understand? What I do is I'm looking into the future right now with a kid, with my new wife in future. And the people around me, because I feel like I've blocked all the negative people in what's the same way. My following, most people don't use that as an opportunity. Because of the fear that people have, because the trend is debt collection, if I call you, you pay. And that business is making money, mama. No jokes. Then there's the issue of advertising on my profile. Is making money, no jokes. Hey, already everything that I advertise, my chickens, my eggs, my veggies, etc., they move. It gets bought same day. That's how powerful these people have made me.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chengeta. For somebody who wants to engage with you, future sponsor, future colleague, future employer, future blesser, to any of your projects,
Facebook profile and then if you want to contact me, the problem is my phone is so busy. Clients. That's why usually meeting. If you need something, call me. When you come and see me, you should be bringing money, or you're coming to collect something. You understand?
Yeah.
Hey, but other than that, my cell number is 73 999 000. It's a presidential.
Heaven.
73 999 000. Hella.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Did you custom make it?
Hey, like he went. And
your Facebook page is
Ndinaye Chengeta. Hey, like Mutaso would say. But how tell them all the ki Ndinaye Chengeta. Limota so general.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Mr. Ndinaye Chengeta. Ndinaye basically means Ndinaye, yes. And then Ndinaye, Ndinaye straight. Thank you so much, Ndinaye, for tuning into the Good Life on Lunch with Your Faves today. It's a fresh Friday, and make sure that you still rock with me all the way to 3 p.m. This is how we wrap up today's Lunch with Your Faves. Thank you so much for the engagements. Thank you so much for everybody else that tuned on Mr. Chengeta's live Facebook page. Catch more of this episode on Yarona FM's YouTube page.
Like a threat.
I'm a threat. Yeah, it's a bag. Yeah.
Lunch with Your Fave is brought to you by KFC. Finger licking good.